All right, 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 all right. This next episode is a great talk with one of my former students. Her name is Ashley Tran, and she goes by the stage name Trainwreck. That's TRNWRCK. I think I got that correct. We talk a little bit about the origins of that, but it's pretty obvious if you think about it. We get into talking about creativity, talking about teaching, because she was one of my students years ago for guitar specifically, and then she actually ended up becoming a teacher herself and doing some having students of her own. So it was really cool talk. We actually ended up after recording talking for a lot longer, which I wish I would have recorded, but it just made me realize I'm going to have to get her back on the podcast, and so we can explore some more ideas that came up after the fact. But this was great. I really enjoyed having Ashley on, and I hope you guys enjoy listening to it. So, cool. I shall catch you on the flippity flop. Oh, wait, no, before I do that, I gotta play the friggin' thing. Oh, wait. Oh, here, roll the intro. All right, hard-hitting questions. No, I'm just kidding. As soon as it starts, just like here we are. I'm gonna ask you the hardest questions. Okay. So, what is your plan for taking over the world? No.
My plan for taking over the world.
No, that's okay. We'll get into all of that in a little bit. What I really wanted to talk about, it's a bunch of different things, but I guess we'll let the listeners know that you used to be my guitar student. Now you have become the master.
I'm no master. I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Perfect. That means you're a good teacher, because if you thought you did, you probably wouldn't teach very well. It's funny because I was talking to Oscar about this, because he's in jiu-jitsu, and he also, part of like the training is that you start teaching as well. And it's the same thing. He's like, when you start teaching, you realize all the things you don't know, and you don't notice it until the people that you teach start doing it. And you're like, wait a minute, I taught them wrong. And then it's like, okay.
That's so true. Yeah. Having other students be like, what does this mean? Or what does this do? And then just having like the loading symbol in my brain.
Yeah, and then it just never ends. It never buffers fully, and you're just like, okay, I guess I just don't know this thing.
Exactly.
Actually, my first question was actually going to be about that. Like, what was it like when you first started teaching? Like, when you transferred from being like, oh, I take lessons and do this stuff. And I know we talked a bit about it while you were thinking about becoming a teacher, but I kind of want to hear your thoughts on it now. What was it like going from student to then teaching other kids?
Ooh, I for sure didn't know what to expect at all. I just kind of went into it. I didn't want to prepare too much because, like, you have to be like flexible with like different teaching styles and all that stuff. So I just kind of went into it blind. And I guess it kind of worked out for me. I learned a lot about like the different teaching styles of like my students and all that stuff. And I was just kind of like the chill teacher.
Yes.
Didn't really have like assigned homework or anything.
I totally get it. That was my whole thing was I just watch School of Rock over and over again, and I'd be like, I'm gonna just be Jack Black, and then you're good to go.
I think that's a good plan. Solid plan.
Although, like, one thing I wish they would have done more in that movie is show him actually teaching the music stuff. Like, they have the montage of like learning about listening to music in the rock bands and stuff. But there's only the one scene where he's like, play this, play that. If there was a little bit more of that, it would have been, I think that would have been helpful.
Oh, for sure. A little bit more authentic.
Yeah. So were you teaching in person?
Yeah, I was teaching in person at a studio, and then I also My cousin's friend actually was the one who hired me. So she runs a business where like the teachers go to the students' houses,
Oh
that
yeah,
kind of
yep,
thing.
yep, yep.
Yeah. So that was terrifying, but it was great.
I've had to do that. I had to do that, and yeah, when I was in Calgary, there I had some students that were not at the store location there, and so I would have to go, and it was just like so weird. You feel like you're an on-call doctor or something. It's like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
show me to the patient. I have my case here.
Exactly. And then just like being in their home is just like, oh wow.
Yeah, you get a good sense of like what the student is gonna kind of be like. You know,
Hmm.
how the people treat their home. You know, is kind of a reflection of how they taught their kid to learn. And so you get in there like, oh, like if it's all like a mess, it's like, okay, well, we'll see what if anything gets done here, or if it's like too clean. That one was worse for me because I was just like, this doesn't really feel like a creative space. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely get that vibe.
You've had some of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any like backlash from parents?
No, I don't think so. I mean, like the students I ended up like not teaching fully through the year, it was mostly just because of like other constraints, like time and also location and all that stuff. Um,
Time, location, we hate you. No, I'm just I've had
just
that. I've
the
had
kids are
that.
like, I don't want to learn from this quack.
Oh man, I've had that. I've had them say that to me mid lesson.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
you teach enough students, you'll get some people who just really aren't compatible, and you know it's fair. I would just be like, all right, and I just open the door and be like, peace. That gives me a break.
Totally.
Are you still teaching?
I am currently not.
Okay.
My other place of work offered me more hours, and also a lot of kids don't want to learn guitar anymore, I guess.
Oh, I
It's
noticed
it's
that
tough to
drop
find.
off. Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely
right?
noticed that drop off. I think it's just music. Music changes, it evolves. People want to learn different things. It's like I bet though. I bet if you wanted to teach like how to run like a DAW, you could probably
Ooh.
get students, right? Like how to use certain programs and stuff. And you just like, I teach lessons in this program or how to set up a mic and stuff. I bet you could get students if you did that.
Yeah.
Like, so,
Well, I
because
guess
that's
we'll
what
have to
people
see.
want. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
let's get into some stuff here.
Okay.
I know you also make music because we've made some music together,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you go by what's your name again?
Oh, train wreck.
I love it. I love it. It's like you know, you all slightly putting self-deprecating, but at the same time, it's like kind of stylish and cool, and I love it. It's so good.
Thanks.
What made you go that direction with it?
Like with the name or just like in
Yeah,
general?
yeah, the
Yeah.
name.
So my last name, Tran.
Right.
I was looking for like a screen name that I could just like throw away because I was my friend Julie, she was starting to get into Twitch, so I was like, oh, I want to make a thing to support her, right? Just
Oh,
trying
you
to
can shout
find
her out here too if you need to. Go ahead.
Julie, go live, amazing stuff. Check
Yeah, I
it out.
follow her on Instagram and all that, so that's good. Good.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is what it's for. Also, don't feel like you have to rush through any answers or anything. If you got other stuff you want to talk to, this is podcast time. We can do whatever we want.
amazing.
This is not the old Long McQuaid lesson room.
Right, we're on the clock here. We're on the time.
Right, exactly. No, this is all just whatever we want it to be. So feel free. But yeah, as you were saying.
Yeah. So I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna be on Twitch like for other people, mostly just for Julie. But yeah, add an I in my last name, so it spells train, a train wreck, good stuff. And then slowly, I went into a few like other communities, and became synonymous with train wreck. So
Nice.
yeah, that's just the vibe.
What kind of communities are you talking? Like forums and stuff like that?
Twitch communities, like other creators I like stumbled across. Yeah.
Okay. You got to remember,
interacting in the
I'm
chat.
old and dumb. I'm old and dumb, and I'm barely holding on here, trying to figure out how to run this podcast, let alone be a part of communities online.
No,
So,
you're doing great.
okay, okay, good, okay, good. I had a Twitch for a bit, and then I played some Minecraft and stuff on it, and then I was like, okay, nobody's watching. I'm gonna leave now.
I remember that, like the short period of time. You
Yeah.
did like some painting and stuff too, right?
Yeah, it's because we were in lockdown. There really wasn't much else to do, so I was like, let's give this a shot. Did not like it. Did not like it at all.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's rough just being like, okay, I'm gonna do this now, and then there's just no one watching, but then also having to be like, ah.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, but I'm gonna have to give you some compliments here though, because like I've been following you on Instagram since I started teaching you, whatever. But you're getting much more. How to put this? You put yourself out there a lot more. Like you really put a lot of effort and time into your stories and stuff like that, and really designing your persona. And it's I think it's working really good. I think it's working really good. I like it.
Whoa, thanks so much, Steve.
Yeah, yeah. Also, the one thing I've gotten the most is like from the song we put up, or the video for that you sing on. Everybody just says how good your voice is, and I'm like, "What do you think of the song?" They're like, "Oh, well, she is just great." I'm like, "Oh, okay, thanks."
Hey, well, I for one, I love the lyrics, I love the melody, I love all the things that you did with your
No,
track.
no. I'm not fishing for compliments here. You were great. You made it work. It worked really good, and we got to do more.
Yes, yes,
That
was
way,
fun.
people will. Maybe it should just be Trainwreck, and I will just write for you. Let's just do it that way. And I'll just take a little liner notes credit in the bottom, but you can do whatever you want.
And we'll
Oh,
take you up on collaborating and stuff, though. Of course, that was fun.
have you done any collaborating with anybody else?
Currently working on some like other projects, not quite like specifically like music collabs, but
Okay.
stuff with music.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another creator I work with, Gimmick. Also follow her on Twitch and Instagram. But she does like some like Twitch like stream stuff. And she asked me to do some music stuff for her, and I did one. It was like a cover of like the Goonies. And it was
Okay.
like
Awesome.
yeah, like a sea shanty version, because the game she was playing was like pirates themed.
Right. That's cool. That's
Yeah,
really
so
cool.
there might be some more of that, maybe.
Did you do
Hint,
much
hint.
composing?
Composing.
Like just strictly, like even just strings and like symphonic kind of stuff? You ever do any of that?
I mean, I've been recently putting like strings into my own kind of music, but
Oh yeah.
nothing like string like specific, I guess.
Okay. I think you'd be
Yeah.
good at it, especially with MIDI these days and just running through like, oh, I can just move this note, and rather than using like sheet music, you can just do MIDI. That's what I've been doing. A friend of mine, who I'm hopefully getting on this podcast in the next bit here, he does like film stuff. Like he enters like little film festivals, but he just did one for a Super 8 one where it's just like they don't even know what it looks like, so they get their roll of Super 8 film, they shoot it, and then they drop it off. So they don't do anything else with it. So they don't get to edit it. They just edit it in cam, just whatever, and then they drop it off. But he asked me to score his little thing, and it's about a corn pop falling down the stairs. And so I did, did a little bit. I'll send it to you.
Wait, I think you did. I listened
Oh,
to
did
it
I?
the other day.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's
Sometimes I forget who I add to my. I just keep like add. But yes, okay, good.
it's good. I saw corn pop and I was like yes, and then I listened to it and I was like yes.
I will post that for people who are listening. I will post that at some point in the future so everybody can hear it. I reached out to Jeremy to ask him if he's going to get like a digital copy, because it would be cool to just even upload the whole video as well, if it's possible. But enough about me. So you also like film and things like that, I notice, and dance. And why don't you tell me what else? Like, what are these things outside of music? What are you getting yourself into?
Recently I inherited a bunch of vintage tech. It'd
Ooh.
be cool to do some stuff with that. I got like a little camcorder and some tape recorders and all that stuff. Maybe trying to play around with sampling or even that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. I also just bought recently like a new camera to make just videos because I've loved making videos since I was a kid. I don't know if you saw the little clip I shared on my story of
I
like me
did.
at very small me
Yes.
being like, let's turn up the heat.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Speaking of when you're a small kid, um, did you have in your family like artistic influences, like people in your family who are like also artistic that kind of showed you the way, or did you just kind of be like, "Hey, nobody else in my family is doing this. I'm going to do this."
Well, I mean, I was put in music lessons. In terms of my family, the most musical it gets is like karaoke. They go hard on the karaoke,
Oh,
but
that's awesome.
yeah. But yeah, over time, I was just in music lessons, and I was like, okay, I don't like sports, and this is cool, so I'll just
Right.
keep going with that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you kind of just found it like, yeah, a lot of kids take music lessons just to have something. That's interesting. Like I come from the opposite kind of family where I wasn't put into music lessons, yet everybody in my family played something. Like almost everybody in my family played something, and then they also just wouldn't teach you anything. It was just such a weird situation. Like everybody was involved with music. No one took lessons, but everybody, so many people could play. And then if you wanted to play, you could, but no one would show you. And so it's like, oh, this is strange. So you kind of just had to like beat down the door to get in. So I just always find it interesting for other people who either had people who really encouraged them or put them in lessons or something like that, compared to just winging it.
You're truly like the bird in the nest, just getting pushed out.
Yeah, yeah. And then my plan was to just hold on to the nest and bring everybody else down with me.
I love it.
If I'm going
Again,
down,
solid plans.
yeah, exactly. No, it was good though. Like I got to see a lot of music. Did you get to see a lot of music when you were a kid? Like, did you go to concerts or anything like that?
Oh, not at all.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the first concert I went to was like at the Stampede, the Coca-Cola stage.
Oh yeah.
That was like mid high school. That
Who
was
was
my first
performing?
Mariana's Trench.
Oh, I saw them.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, maybe it was the same tour I saw them on. Who was opening for them? Do you remember who opened for them?
Um, no, I don't remember.
Okay, because when I saw them, it was Carly Rae Jepsen.
Oh,
It was when she was her "Call Me Maybe" hadn't even come out yet. It was just something with the boys or something was her song, and she was kind of on Canadian radio, and she was touring with one other dude who just played acoustic guitar, and she just sing. And
sick.
yeah, she opened for Mariana's Trench, and so did Shiloh. You remember Shiloh?
Name familiar. No
Yeah,
music is in
no.
my head.
She had one. She had one song. It seemed a little bit more like corporate manufactured. That's what it
Mm.
was. And she was only like 15 or something at the time. But
Oh, dang. I think these days they call her maybe like an industry plant. Is
yes,
that?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that yeah, that was basically it. And it did, like she had the one song, and then it just didn't go past that. I think people could see right through it and be like,
Hmm.
She's not really." Canada has a weird relationship with musicians. Like, you look at the ones who do really well in Canada, like Drake or the Tragically Hip.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you really have to earn it in Canada. You really have to earn it. It's not like Canadians, as much as we're friendly, we are also very judgmental.
Oh, true. That's so true. And like even the folks that make it kind of big, like in American radio, like you can barely hear their songs. Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, just
I know it's
played once
crazy.
or twice or something. Like, whew.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Mhm.
And well, and now with the internet, it's so much more complicated. Like when I was getting out of university and playing bands and whatnot, yeah, there was YouTube and stuff, and there was some things, but there was no like other than Facebook, and it was old Facebook, there was no real social media yet, other than just like, oh yeah, I poked you on Facebook. But there was no way, there was no integration of music. Like MySpace was still a thing. Like that's so it was still like, oh yeah, you just get some friends on MySpace and then you go out and you have a band and more people will be your friends on MySpace and whatever. And
Well,
now it's completely different.
oh yeah, like everyone can be a star, but then also no one can be a star.
Exactly. Exactly. How do you deal with that? Like you're younger than me, so you would have a better grasp of what's actually happening. Does it feel like hopeless, or do you feel like there's a lot of opportunities out there?
A little bit of both. Because like on the one side, it's like, oh wow, all of like these people are just like popping up out of nowhere, doing the thing, and like that's really cool. But then also, um, just the sheer amount of like people who are also trying to make it. It's intimidating, I guess. It's intimidating.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you bring that up, with like there's people popping up everywhere, there wasn't social media, but when I would go out to play shows, there was a lot more people wanting to play. And so it
Mm.
was like, I guess the competition has just now moved online. The competition was always there. So it was just
Mhm.
like, you just wouldn't see it in your regular life. But as soon as you hit the show and you go see a band play, and there's like 6 bands on the bill, and you're like, oh, you only get 20 minutes. And you have to fit whatever you can into 20 minutes. And then it's like, oh, the band before your set took too long to get off stage, so now you have 5 less minutes. and then and then the band that's after you is like, oh, we got to get on sooner, so now you're only getting like 12 minutes to play, so you get like 3 4 songs, and you're competing with all of these different guys and girls that are just fantastic performers. And so I guess the competition's just transformed into a new way to compete.
Oh yeah, now it's about like attention span too. Like if you can't get their attention within like 0.2 seconds, you're getting swiped.
Right.
Like you got to either have like a look to yourself that like intrigues people to stay even if your stuff isn't that good or something like that. I've noticed
Island
it's very
boys.
yeah, exactly. It's very visual too. Um yeah, or it's like if your sound isn't immediately like, "Whoa, that sounds cool."
Right.
You're done. Yep.
Yeah, that's sad. That's sad. But like I get it, cuz I'm still trying to do stuff. And
Mhm.
I think though what I've learned is that I'm not going to dance for them. It's like, if I'm going to put out a song, when it's done, it's done. It'll go out. It's not going to be part of an album. If I have an album, I'll put it out. But if I don't, then whatever. And it's like doing this podcast, like you said, attention span. Well, with podcasts, this is like the opposite of that. There are people that have attention span, so I'm just going to cater to them. I don't even care if the people who don't have the attention span don't listen. Fine, whatever, don't listen. This is not
Yeah.
for you then. you know, I also feel like it's a trained thing. Like, I think people can train themselves to have longer attention span, but it requires more content being put out that requires a longer attention span. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a dead end per se, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think the way
Yeah.
you have been doing it, like with your different videos, plus you do like the close friends feature on Instagram.
Yeah, it's
So
mostly me being afraid of being afraid of all of my peers that I've met via school. So I'm just like, okay, well, I'll just show the people that, care, I guess.
yeah, and well, I think that's the exact same kind of attitude, right? As doing it is like, I'm going to cater to the people that I know care. I'm going to cater to the people that I care about, and that's what matters. And I think you'll find you'll do a lot of good things in that, and people will want to be involved. And see, I don't know if you realize this, but doing the exclusive thing like that, and people start talking about it, where you will never hear this, okay? You will never hear this because other people will be talking about it without you there, because that's the only way they can talk about it. And they'll be like, oh, did you see Ashley's story? It's like, Oh no, I didn't. She never posts stories. Like, oh, I guess you have to be your close friend then.
Ooh, the VIP treatment.
Yeah, so you're actually just out there hurting a lot of people's feelings. So
I'm sorry.
no, you're doing great. It's great. It's great. I'm in the club, so I don't care.
True. True.
I see it. That's all that matters. Speaking of seeing it, uh, your style, you've been developing like fashion kind of look and all of this that I see in your social media. Where are you getting these influences? Like, where do you look when you're looking for new ideas?
Well, in this day and age, like, the social media, just you have a bunch of different kind of aesthetics kind of thrown at you.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever catches, right?
Right.
For me, I've always like kind of loved playing around with the style. So I like to try a bunch of different things at once. I don't even know where this is going, but yeah,
Like
influences are coming from anywhere. But
do you go search for it?
not really. I mean, if there's something I see that I really like, then I'll be like, oh, I want to try and emulate that with the things I have.
Okay.
And that same thing goes with music. I like this sound. Let's see if I can do that, but my version.
For sure, for sure. No, I get that. It's such a different world. Like I remember when I was like in high school, if you wanted to find something, it was like you literally go buy a magazine. Right? And so it's like we weren't bombarded with all of these ideas and options. So it was like, oh, if I'm going to get into fashion, well, then I have to go find a fashion magazine or something like that and
Right.
follow what's actually happening. And yeah, so it's just a bit different. Like I still go on YouTube and treat it like I'm an old man, and I will like search new music. Rather, like I don't go through like the oh, you also would like this. I don't even bother with that. I just I just like put in specific searches and stuff to find new music in a completely different way, and then I find new bands all the time. It's great.
That's awesome. It's also great that just searching new music will get like actual results and not like something strange titled new music.
Well, a lot of people pay for those, right? You can pay to be in the related.
Right. That's true.
And so it's like, I don't know. I want to find the people with like 3 views, you know, or at least like less than like 10,000 followers, just like they're just getting going. I always find those are the people who are trying their best and they're putting out their best because they want to do it well. And so it's like it actually just ends up being better compared to somebody who's got millions of dollars. Oh, I can go to the studio for the next 5 weeks and putz around and then maybe put something out, and it's like, okay.
Ooh. Yeah. You can really feel the heart there, man.
Right. Exactly. In between their fancy lunches and dinners, or if they even eat. But no, that's just me being mean.
No, I get what you mean.
Oh man. Okay. So, what are you looking for your artistic practice? Let's call it. I don't want to call it career because it's something that you're obviously going to do regardless of whether you get paid for it. Like it's something that's just going to be forever thing. What would be like an ideal kind of situation for you? Like, would it be only just working on music, or is it like certain things that you'd want to be doing, and in which aspects? You kind of just go. I want to hear it. I want to hear it all.
Well, I guess I want to do like everything. So, like, I want to learn about how different things in like within the industry and maybe even outside of the industry work. It'd be cool to make that my job, like learning about things. I was thinking about, maybe making a YouTube channel being like, I tried to do these things I haven't done before, like
Sure,
that kind of thing.
Sure.
Kind of like those try channels where they try different challenges. Oh, I try army boot camp for a week or whatever. Like,
Yep.
I don't know. Like, it seems like a cool idea because I don't know if I'll be able to settle. There's
Right.
so many cool things out there. I want to experience all the things.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So,
But-
like, I guess what about like a perfect day? Like, what would it be a perfect day in this creative atmosphere be like for you? Is that if you were to picture it, what would it look like?
Hmm. That's a tough question with like all the things. But if I'm saying specifically music, well, then I can be like, well, I want to work on my EP or something, or I
Right,
want to
right.
work on a song, and like just having that be my day, I guess.
Okay. And
Yeah.
this is good. This is where I want to go because maybe you haven't thought about it too much. Like I'm turning 33 in a few weeks here, and I've thought about this a lot, and over the course of my life. And one thing that came up for me, and it started like I think maybe like 10 years ago. I was just like, I want to live a life where I don't need an alarm clock. It was just like whenever I wake up is whenever I start my process. And so it's like, I don't need an alarm telling me when to start my process. I just want to be able to get up, you know, eat some food, have some coffee, have more coffee, a little bit more coffee, and then kind of get into whatever it is, you know. And for a while it was painting and, just making music and writing and practicing and all that. I know it's not easy to get to that space, but what I realized is when you think about it, in that ideal day kind of situation, there are things you can do where it's like, okay, maybe it's not 100%, but let's say you have a day off and then you just pretend on that day off that that is your day, that you've already
Yeah.
made it, right? And so it's like, oh, I have Saturday off, turn off the alarms, and it's like, I already know I'm going to wake up and I'm going to make a hit record. Right. And so then you just get up and you are in that the whole day as if you are, Prince or something like that. I find it helps.
Yeah, definitely. I get you. Yeah, because technically I'm not full time, so I do have a little bit of like flexibility with my day, and I
Sweet.
do find myself like trying to fill that time by doing projects I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Good.
Things like video ideas or like music and all that stuff. I have a to-do list for like things to do on my day off because it's better than just like sitting on my phone and rotting my brain for like
Oh,
a bunch of
oh,
hours.
I do that all the time.
Same. Yeah. That's why I have the list.
Yeah, no, that's good. I love lists. Lists are really good. Even if I never get to the stuff, making the list made me feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes there are days where that's all I want to do is just rot my brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice having, I guess, the illusion of choice.
Right. Do you ever feel like you get stuck? And do you ever get? I guess this is kind of leading, but like, do you ever get like frustrated if you don't finish your list? Like, how do you feel like if you see something and it's just like that's not happening?
Yeah, that was like the past 2 years of my life
Mm,
because I was just like, okay, this is the time. I'm gonna release the thing. I'm gonna do like full marketing for my music stuff. I'm gonna plan out exactly what genre I want to write. All like I'm gonna do the whole shebang, and then I just didn't.
yeah.
It felt gross, but then also I couldn't bring myself to like put forth those ideas because I was in such a mindset where I was like, it's not perfect, so I hate it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I get that. I get that a lot. Uh, and I also, this is weird. I was talking to my friend Jeremy, who I'd made the song for the other day.
Mhm.
I made that in less than 2 hours. And I was just like, I've been working on my debut album, quote unquote, for like 10 years. But if somebody just comes up to me with a weird idea and is just like, hey, Steve, I need a song for a corn pop falling down the stairs and going on an adventure, and it needs to be 3.5 minutes long, and it needs to be in the style of Lord of the Rings, boom, done. I can do it. I can knock it out in no time at all and whatever. And then when it comes to like a song that I've written that is like, oh, I'm going to perform this or something like that, nowhere. Goes nowhere. No, like, I don't know. You ever get like that?
Exactly. Oh, 100%. Yeah, like when I had those when I had gimmick and stuff reaching out to me being like, "Oh, can you make a Cyndi Lauper cover in the style of a sea shanty. I'm like, oh hell yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
whip that out real fast.
Yeah.
But then when my own music, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go in this direction, and then I do a complete 180. Oh, I actually don't want to go in that direction anymore. I'm gonna go in a different one, and then the cycle repeats.
Right. No, I get that. It's almost like I was thinking like, man, I just need somebody to be like throwing weird ideas at me, but not just like a brainstorm. Because I thought like, oh, I could just do that for myself. I could be like, oh, I need this, and just give myself the parameters to work on it. It's still not going to happen, and I think I know why. I think it's that there's no stakes.
Oh.
There's no stakes involved, where it's like, I know I'm not going to, or like, I guess the way to put it is I already know how badly I shit on myself if I don't get something done.
Right.
So it's like, I already know I can suffer my own judgment. I've been doing it for forever. So if I fail myself, oh, yeah, it'll suck, but I can deal with it. But if it's a friend of mine who's like, oh, I have a project and I need this done, it goes into my brain like, this is the most important project on the planet right now, and I have the skills to complete it and show my friend that I can get it done, and they will be happy with it in
Exactly.
a reasonable time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the parameters like almost make it like a job, but like not like a job, but it's like a task that you're able to complete and all that stuff.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And then it just like flies. Then you just get in the creative space and it just like, and then at the end of it, I'm like, wow, oh, I'm done already? Oh, I did it? What? Where did this person come from?
Exactly.
I can do things? Things get
Whoa.
finished? Oh?
What?
Mind
That's
blown.
crazy.
And so it's like, maybe that's the thing, like looking for more projects like that that I need to do is reach out and be like, hey, do you need music for anything? Just like, and go that way with it. I don't know. It's just fun to do that way.
Oh yeah. I mean, like what we're describing is an actual job. It's like the folks who write for like advertising and all that stuff.
Right. And
But
TV
it's like,
and whatever.
yeah. Like spot placements and all that stuff. But like I don't know, the vibe is different when it's like someone you care about or something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's, I wouldn't charge my friend, it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
it's like a 3.5 minute thing. And it's like, and I know I'm capable of doing it. It's
Mhm.
like, but if it was like, yeah, let's say like Coca-Cola or McDonald's needs a new jingle or something. And it's like, yeah, I can do it. That's where I'm going to be like, free Big Macs for life. Or something like that. I don't know. It's just,
Fair.
I have a price, and that's basically it.
Yeah, it's like like when doing it for like friends, it's like you have the heart that you want for your own projects, but also the parameters,
Right.
for completion.
Did you ever feel like in school or anything like that, if there were rules, you would just look for any which way to bend them? Not break them, but like, well, you didn't say I couldn't. Right? You should have laid it out a little more specifically if you wanted me to not do that.
I was very much like a cookie cutter, follow the rules, teacher's
Ah.
pet kind of student. But there were times where it's like, instead of a presentation, can I do a video?
Yes.
They're like, yeah, you can do a video, that kind of thing. But it was like 90% like cookie cutter, must follow rules.
Yeah, that's fair. It takes some time to kind of break out of that.
Mhm.
I was always the one who was just like, oh, they gave us the option of doing a video. We're doing a video. Like, that is it. I'm not writing anything. Screw that.
Yeah.
I hate writing. I hate writing so much. It's the worst.
Oh, fair. Yeah. Lyrics, like, it's one of the toughest things. Like lyrics and melody, I can't. It's so tough.
Yeah. Oh, tell me about it. When I'm trying to write, like, I have still some songs that are unfinished from like when I started writing in high school, and I'm not even caring about finishing the song in the sense of like I'm going to record or anything. It's like I just need a couple more lines for a verse. Just think of a couple lines. They don't even have to be good. Just finish the song. Can't do it. But if somebody's like, "Hey, Steve, I had this idea for a fake German band that makes club music. and the song is called Phallus in Wunderhand. I can write an entire song with raps from the perspective of the Mad Hatter and the rabbit guy. You know, it's like within minutes, and it's the same thing.
That was amazing, by the way. I laughed so hard when I was watching the video.
Oh,
like, this is great.
And that's the thing. I messaged my friend, same friend actually, Jeremy. I was just like, I messaged him after. I'm like, I sent him the thing, and I was like, this is probably the best thing I've ever made, and will probably be the best thing I've ever created. Anyway, see you later. Like,
bye.
After spending so many years like slaving away on my own projects, and then he just had an idea for a fake band, and I can do it. I don't know. It just pisses me off sometimes.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, oh, I wanna put this version of myself out there, but no, I'll just be a train wreck instead.
Hey, at least you're finding it. You're finding it. Speaking of putting yourself out there, are you planning on performing, or are you kind of just leaning more into the digital space?
I mean, I've never really performed for myself. It's something I want to try, definitely, but I also have mega big stage fright.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't even that bad back in the day, but
I was gonna let you know right now there's 500 million people listening to this podcast, but keep going.
Just start sweating bullets.
Yeah.
Oh, why is she so sweaty?
Hey, it's also on Spotify, so maybe they're not seeing it.
Oh, well. She has sweaty energy. No, I'm kidding.
Sweatergy.
Swenergy.
Write that down.
Oh yeah,
Swenergy.
make it a song, you know.
Oh my god. That is the next Sandworm song. Swenergy. Yeah.
It'll be about dancing until you drop.
Okay, just keep this going. You're now writing my music for me. It's great.
Amazing.
Yeah. Sandworm release for the new year. T-shirts. Book tour. Okay.
Book tour.
Book tour. Yeah, there's gonna be a whole book about writing this album, and it's gonna have to go on book tour for it.
Oh yeah.
And we're not gonna perform any of the songs on the book tour. It'll just be the book.
They'll just read the book and feel the vibes.
And the book only just describes what the song sounds like. What what a horrible book that would be. First, the drums enter.
Yeah.
One after another. There's a bit of snare. Snappy snare.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the whole book. And it's like, this is the worst book ever.
It's 800 pages. Like the Twilight Saga.
800 pages per song.
Per song.
It's a whole book set. Yes. Okay, where were we? What was the question I asked you? I was talking about Swenergy.
Performing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my stage fright wasn't even that bad until I butchered last post in front of my school. So I've just had this kind of oh, what if I do that again? And then it's my own stuff, so it's like, oh, that's even worse.
Yep. I get that. You know what I did in high school? The school I went to in Los Angeles had a very large Asian population. Okay. And so every year, I'm pretty sure they were the large majority of the students in the area that I was living in. And they'd always have an Asian talent show each year. And you might be thinking, Steve, you're not Asian. So what are you talking about, Asian talent show? And it's like, well, there's this girl who played violin and she needed guitar accompaniment. And I was like, oh, yeah, I can help you. And she was doing New York, New York by Frank Sinatra. And I was like, okay, I just had to learn a few chords. And I get up on stage and we do it. And we set up and we're getting ready. And people are yelling at me because obviously it's high school and whatever. And then they're like, play something. And so I played the da 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 da. And everybody laughed so hard. And but I'm pretty sure I severely embarrassed the girl who was playing violin. But she crushed it. She was amazing at violin. I think she got over it pretty quick. But you do something stupid like that. And
Oh,
like
gee.
for the joke, right? It was just for the joke. So I get it. You get up on a stage in front of a bunch of your peers, and then you do something, and then they go, "Oh," and it's like, nah. But the trick I found was you just got to keep doing it. You just keep doing it, and then eventually they forget. It's like, remember that one time? No, I don't. Don't remember. No
Never
idea what you're talking
existed.
about. Luckily, there was no cell phone cameras at that time, so.
Yeah, I was definitely lucky in that regard too, where it's like, in that moment, cell phones disrespectful because last post, but I was very much after everyone left the gym, I squatted down and I cried.
But like, how did you mess it up? Let's get into this. I want to know.
Let's get into your trauma here.
Was it just bad? Like,
yeah, because like last post when you're playing trumpet, it's just like you don't even have to press any valves. It's just a few notes that go up and down, adjusting your embouchure, right? And
okay. See, I don't know any of this. Keep going.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to press any valves, but you can change like your mouth to make the like different pitches, like specifically. But I was the last performer of last post for that day because we had two different folks, including me, play last post for the different grades. So we had one for grade 10, 11, and 12. And I was a senior. So, right. But I was too scared. So I was like, I'm going to play in front of the grade 10 kids. Yeah. And since I was the last person to play, my mouth was like dead. I was like, oh, snap. I don't know how I'm going to be able to like do my mouth in the correct pitches. Starts off okay. And then I couldn't, it sounded like a wet fart kind of thing, different. It's like, whang, 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 And I was like, this is last post. I am disrespecting all the troops.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's okay now. It only haunts me a little bit.
The more you talk about it, the less you'll feel bad about it. I think it is just like I've had several bad shows, and by several I mean like I would say a large percentage of a lot of the times nobody even notices. Like, sure, you might be the only one playing in a room full of hundreds of people, and they might notice something like that. Like, I've definitely had those kind of moments. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the time, even in those moments, people are more like sympathetic. Where it's like, oh my god, like, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
like they feel bad not because you did it, they feel bad with you. Like I find most people are like, and then they are like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And it really isn't. It really isn't. Like, you're not dead. They didn't drag you out back and tie you to a tree and bash you over the head with a shovel. Which they could have done.
They could have done. Yeah, with all of the the teachers supervising.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, she's done. She deserves that. Mm-hmm. Like, she ruined this very small gathering of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's comforting. And also, high school, it's a different world. If I crushed it, I would have peaked that moment,
You wouldn't. I'll just tell you right now, you wouldn't have ever thought you crushed it. You would have never thought you crushed it. No matter how good you did, you would have never thought you crushed it. It's high school. You never ever
true.
think.
Oh yeah.
It's like, man, I could have done that better. I've done shows where it was like people come up to me afterwards and they're like, that was awesome, man. That was so good, that solo you did. And they talk specifically about something that I messed up, and I know I messed up, and it was terrible. And I was just like, left the stage, and I was just pissed at how badly I did. And then that's the thing that people loved. And I was like, okay, I'm not wasting any more time being mad if I mess up, because it's like, I don't know. It's not me. I'm not the audience. I'm performing. And if I mess up, okay, but is it actually hurting anybody's feelings?
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, I'm offended by that F sharp. It's not going to happen. It's like, they might, I don't know, you'll notice this as you teach more too. Most people are tone deaf. Like, most people do not hear music the same way musicians do. And you'll start to understand it more and more as you go. But I had a realization a while back, and it was like, wow, they really just are not hearing the same thing. They're not at all hearing the same thing. And you're like, how can I show people all these beautiful colors and stuff of what music can be other than by playing it? And then they still don't get it. They don't get it.
No.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It
so
is
don't
wild.
worry about it. So don't worry about it. Plus, here's another way to look at it too. And I try to tell this to a lot of different people. It's like, you're never going to tell a story where you did well.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Because it's a boring ass story.
Everything was good. Bye.
Yeah, it's like, oh, how'd that show go? Well, it was pretty good. Done.
End of podcast. Roll credits.
Yep. But speaking of horrible performances that I felt terrible about, but also hilarious, when I was in high school, I think I was grade 10, and I was part of the choir, and we were doing a Disney medley. And one of the songs was A Whole New World from Aladdin. Everybody knows that song. And there was a duet part. And the teacher wanted me to do the part, or at least audition for it. And then she's like, okay, yeah, you can do it. And I was like, okay, I'll do the Aladdin part of this thing. And then this girl who could sing really well did Jasmine. And in all of the practices, and I couldn't get the last note. I was just, for some reason, it just wasn't happening. But I would just joke around and stuff. In other songs where I'd be like, I'd replace all of the words me with Steve, just to make the people around me laugh. And so if a song had the word me in it, which 90% of songs do, I would just change the word to Steve. And we went on this choir trip to Edmonton, and the whole time I could never hit the last note. And I was just like, man, I'm not going to get it. And the teacher, she was like, no, it's all right. It's all right. Whatever. And I was just really mad at myself. And then we get back from the trip, and we do one last performance of this. And I get out there and I nail it. I hit the note perfectly. And the teacher was so proud of me. But what she didn't realize, and I barely even realized that I did it, is I said Steve. It was, the last line is, for you and Steve, me. I see, I almost did it again. For you and me. And I said Steve, but I nailed the note. So I was so pumped. And then the song ends. And then the crowd goes silent. And because I was so in the moment, I was so focused on the note, I didn't realize what I said. And out of the darkness, I couldn't see anyone in the crowd. I just hear a little bit of laughing, and then more laughing, and then everybody was laughing because I said Steve instead. And I was just like, what is going on? And then I looked into the girl, and she's like terrified, wide-eyed, and she's like, you said Steve. And I'm like, and this was like back at home, so it's not just randoms in a different city. This was all of the parents and friends and families of, of kids in school, so everybody saw it. And it was, I just like sank. I was just like, oh no. And then the funniest part was the teacher didn't even hear me say Steve. She just heard the note. She's like, you finally hit it. You finally hit it. I'm like, yeah, but I said Steve. And she was just like, oh no. So I get it. There's been embarrassing moments, but it's one of my favorite stories. Like, it's so funny.
Oh, that's great. It's great. Stories like this build character.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was fantastic. It took me like maybe an hour to get over it. And I was just like, oh no. And then I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, this is too good. I wish somebody would have filmed it.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. Just imagine being in the audience and being like, whoa.
This kid just ruined his own life. but goddamn, can he sing?
Yeah.
So good. Okay. So this section of the podcast, which I just made up right now.
Oh,
Dreams, goals, dream collaborations.
Ooh.
Let's get surreal with it. Let's get with like, what would be like a dream kind of like project to work on for you?
I mean, I haven't really thought of it that far. I've just been focusing on like, if I can put out the one thing I'm proud of, then I'll be okay. I can die happy, like that kind
Right.
of thing.
Well, let's just even get rid of that. You don't even need to be proud of it. It could just be something that you just want to do, and it could be working with people who are dead, or it could be anything, or it could be like a specific type of project, like, oh, I did the score for a Marvel movie or whatever. Is there anything like that, future-wise, that you think that would be freaking nuts?
Freaking nuts. Maybe like writing a song for like someone famous with notoriety.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, some
Yeah,
like
yeah.
writing, I don't even like a pop song or something, or any sort of song. They're like, I like this, I'm gonna sing it now.
Mm-hmm.
Set for life, man, the royalties.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah,
also,
for sure.
it'd be so cool to see someone like who has achieved that like level of greatness, like execute something I wrote.
Right. Right. No, I get that, and that's a couple things about that brings to mind is like, Bruno Mars was that. That's what Bruno Mars was before he became Bruno Mars. He
Mhm.
wrote for everyone, and then Katy Perry as well. Katy Perry was that. She was. I don't know if you ever saw her documentary, but she was talking about how she was writing like 500 songs a year
Holy cow.
because she got a job at a label that needed songs for their star performers. And so she would just be in a room with other songwriters, and they just have to write every single day. Just write new song. Just to the point where it's like, in 500 songs, one of them is going to be good.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, you have to trudge through all that mess of bad songs until you find a good one, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, that's crazy. And then the other thing that made me think of was like, composing. Going back to this idea of composing and writing something down compared to writing something while playing is a completely different experience for one huge reason. Mozart was not a master violinist, but he wrote the best violin parts.
Whoa.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you could write for somebody who was the best instrumentalist, what kind would you write? Do 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 do, or would you go like, oh no, this guy can go. Let's do right, and really push the limits, right? And then people who are at that level are like, I can do that, and then you make it a challenge even for them, right? So composing is a little different kind of mindset. It's like, what could I write that would be a challenge for somebody to play? Right?
Wow.
Or to sing.
Yeah.
Right?
I never really thought of it like that before. I mean, it makes sense in hindsight, but wow.
Yeah, it's just like a different kind of perspective. I thought about that a while ago. I used to say it to my bands in a different way, like when we were writing songs together. I'd be like, is this the song you'd want to see in a stadium if you went to a show? Like if you're going to go to Warped Tour, you're going to go see the Foo Fighters or something in a 50,000 seater stadium or arena. Would this song hold up in a space that big? And if not, then why the hell are you playing it?
Good point.
Right? You want the songs to be bigger than the venue.
Mm-hmm.
You get something like Jack White's dun 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 dun. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And it holds up in the space you want it to hold up in. So it's not necessarily has to be an arena. Like that was me because I was like, I want to play in a band that plays arenas. But you could think of it as like, could this be in a movie? Could this be what Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper sing in Star is Born 2?
Yeah, yeah.
That kind of idea. I don't know why they'd make a sequel to that, but Shallow 2. Very shallow. I don't know.
Super shallow. No.
Super shallow.
No. I get what you mean though, because my last release, Element, I didn't have any expectation for it, and I wasn't even going to release it. I was just like, I want to write this song because it seems like it would be fun to perform.
Right.
Yeah. If a bunch of my music friends were like, okay, we're gonna do a live show. Do you have a song you'd want to do? And be like, yeah, I have this song I want to do,
Perfect.
like that kind
Yeah,
of
there
thing.
you go.
And I just went for it. It was great.
Yeah, no, and I loved it. You know which one I really like, the dive in one.
Oh,
I really like that. That was I've been getting a lot more into like lo-fi synthwave kind of stuff. So
hmm,
when you sent that to me, I was just like, oh yeah, this is gonna work.
thanks. And I wrote that because you were like, hey, how about you write something and I can just do a little mixing practice with
Hey,
it.
it all comes
But
full circle.
it is seriously like I literally only wrote that because of like, okay, Steve wants a track to mess around with. I'll just mess around as well, and it happened. Dive
Okay,
in.
well, I need another one because I want to practice some new. I've been like watching tons of videos and stuff on mixing and mastering, so I need more. So if you want to do another one, I would really appreciate it because I've kind of got stuck on like my own stuff. So I need something like fresh that my ears haven't heard a billion times. That
Noted.
Yeah. So if
Noted.
you want to do another one, send them my way because I think it would be fun, even if we end up doing a few of them and just put them up as like a little package of like 3 or 4 songs and just put that up as like a little. It used to be discs, right? Just like whatever half album.
Little mixtape.
Yeah, a little mixtape kind of thing. I think that would
Hmm.
be fun. Get rolling on something like that and get the Swenergy hitting.
Get this energy going. Yeah.
Swenergy. Swenergy. Yeah, it'll be something like that. Swenergy.
Perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't do the high one, but that's what autotune's for.
Oh yeah. True. Yeah.
We. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So, no, that was perfect too. Because I was like, also, when I was trying to mix Element, I was like, I can't listen to this anymore. Like, I actually tweaked it to the point where, like, all of the levels were off, and then I had to like start over and then remix it again. So,
I'll
perfect.
just tell you right now, 100% of my songs, I have started over at least 2 or 3 times
Hmm.
from scratch. I go in, I work on it for like a couple weeks, and then I come back to it after a few days. I hate all of it. Start over. I'll keep like some of the tracks, but I remove all of the effects. I remove all of like the arrangement, and then I just hit it again, hit it again,
Yep.
hit it again, and it's just like I'm sure someday something will get done. Or not, whatever. It's fun to work on it too. Like that's like one thing I was talking to Oscar about for his jujitsu is like it's the practice. That's what we get into. It's the
Hmm.
practice. It's not waiting for the song to be over. I enjoy starting over. I enjoy the process of making something from nothing and being like,
Hmm.
"Oh, what can I do? Can I make a corn pop sounding song? Can I write a hit for Katy Perry? Can I write a song that would be great performed? Or can I write something that's going to be so difficult to play that it can't be?" Right? And so then it's like you start challenging yourself in different ways with stuff. And yeah, no, it's fun. Music is just so fun.
It's
I
great.
I know we're hitting the hour mark here, which is fantastic. It didn't even feel like it.
Yeah.
um, I just kind of wanted this podcast to be open ended and just kind of go for as long as whatever comes up and as long as it feels good. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I when you said we're hitting the hour mark, I was like, what? It hasn't only been 20 minutes? What?
Okay, good. Uh, I was gonna ask you another question. Now this one's a little different. Okay,
Hmm.
I asked this one to Oscar, and I think I'm gonna ask it to everybody. Um, you always hear about like what advice would you give your younger self, but I want to switch that up. I want it to be what would your younger self say to you if they saw you now?
That's a good question. I was thinking about that. Because as a kid, there was a lot of expectations,
Hmm.
ways to look, ways to act, ways to behave, goals to have, that kind of thing.
For sure.
And then to just see the way I look now, I don't know how my younger self would react. Be like, how'd that happen? Why'd you shave your head?
Yeah.
Are you having a mental breakdown?
My younger self would be like, "Oh yeah, he definitely had a mental breakdown." It wouldn't even be a question. It's like, "Oh, but you still have your hair." Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I just find it interesting. Like if 13-year-old me who first picked up the guitar and be like, "Oh man, I want to be able to play, some Bob Dylan songs when I was like that young, or just like some basic chords." To end up making a career of teaching. It's like such a weird concept. And then you start to realize, like, oh man, I actually did quite a bit. I've done quite a bit. And I'm doing a lot. Like, I spend a lot of my days just working on music, having my own microphones and stuff like that to be able to record stupid ideas that I have and make videos and all that. I'm pretty sure my 13-year-old self would be like, that's pretty awesome, Steve. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Wow. When you put it that way, I mean, I think so too. Because I remember every year on my birthday, when you're a kid, you wish before you blow out the candles, and some people they'd wish for like superpowers or a dog or something like that. But I was like, I want to learn and be good at every instrument, just so that like I can just do all of the music. And in a way, I'm not saying that I'm like super good at all of the instruments or anything, but I've found a way to kind of emulate that with like all this electronic stuff. So
yes,
so
you're kind of doing it. You're kind of doing it. Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure a bassoonist isn't gonna like jump out of the closet and be like, "You're not good at bassoon," and then just like, bash you over the head with it. So I don't think you have to worry about that. They're too introverted to do that. You ever met a bassoonist? Me either. I don't think they exist.
Fair.
I've met oboists though.
Oh, well, that's another story. No, I'm kidding.
They're very, very normal people.
Like they're extremely people.
Yeah, they are so much people. Like you would be mind blown.
Yeah,
like,
they're
wow.
so person.
You're like, wow, that is a person. Okay, you feeling good?
I'm feeling good.
Okay, we can call it then. I think this was great. I think this was really fun. I'll definitely have to have you back on again at some point.
I'd love to be back on it. Thanks for inviting me, Steve.
No worries. I am very hopeful to see you on huge stages, if you want to go that way with it, or at least have lots of downloads. I think that what you create brings a certain vibe, and it has its place in the industry, and I think people will really like it as you put yourself out there more and more. I think it'll be really good.
Man, thanks, Steve.
Yeah. And when I have you back, maybe we'll have you back with other people, because I think I can have up to like 10 people on this.
Ooh.
And so I think it would be fun if you came on and we talked to somebody else and kind of get like a different kind of flow going with multiple people, and you can ask questions and stuff like that too. I think it'd be great.
That'd be fun. Yeah. Cool. I look forward to it.
Good. Here, I'll just end the broadcast here. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.